Hey y'all, and welcome to Politibral. My name is Brian, and Brooke Rollins just puts Pamela Brown on her backside, revealing the truth about how bad things were under the Schumer shutdown and what the mainstream media doesn't want you to hear. Let's dive in.
The judge also said, and this was the judge in Rhode Island, that there was money available in other funding pots, like the one that was used for WIC. $750 million was transferred to WIC out of this other funding pot. This judge said, you didn't do that, you didn't use that, you could have to fully fund SNAP, and you fought it all the way to the Supreme Court.
Let's talk about that.
Okay, let's talk about it.
That judge in Rhode Island is the largest Democrat donor.
But besides
it's important,
let's look at the facts.
There
This
is a
Section
radical
32, which is a
left
child nutrition
judge
program,
who decided that we could take money. Listen, there went a No Kings rally, a No Kings parade, but then all of a sudden a radical left judge in Rhode Island, of all places, says, oh no, please make yourself king and find that money out of the clear blue sky and redirect it into the SNAP program.
There was $23 billion in Section 32, the child nutrition program, and so this judge, is this not factual? The judge says that $4 billion could have been moved from that Section 32 fund to fully fund SNAP. But politics aside, is that inaccurate, those facts?
No, that is not facts. That money is congressionally appropriated and authorized for a different set of facts. If we had used that money, it would have taken food out of the mouths of school children. That came from an entirely different pot of money, non-congressionally authorized. Listen, it's unbelievable to me.
But it was used for WIC.
That's a different congressionally authorized program. It is entirely separate from SNAP. And so for you guys and the left and the Democrats and your radical people who say, oh, just move money around, this one judge in Rhode Island is going to completely upend the whole entire Constitution and how we fund these programs in America is truly insane. And we would lose our country in a second if we allowed one judge in Rhode Island without question to say, move that money there, move that money here. You guys decide where the money goes. We're going to tell you how to do it. That's not our system of government. And we would be in absolute chaos if we ended up abiding by, again, that specific judge. Even Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, no big friend of, the right and what we believe constitutionally is appropriate in this country. Even she said, wait a minute, this is not appropriate. This is not constitutional. I am going to stay this case until we know whether the government's going to reopen.
She wanted the government to reopen, and then she dissented in the latest one, saying she would have funded SNAP. I just want to go back on this because in reading through the court cases, they argue that the USDA did not prepare for this inevitability. And as a result, there was a patchwork. There was first saying we can't use contingency funds, then we can use contingency funds up to 50%. Then it went up to 65% with different calculations. And so they argue that preparation wasn't there. I do want to get your thoughts as
well, let me respond.
Okay,
That's
please,
not fair.
Please.
We have an incredible team of careers at USDA. These are not Trump people. They are careers that have been there through other shutdowns, have worked at USDA for a really long time, that were working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to try to figure out how to get the SNAP funds out. So to say that team was not prepared or that we were not prepared,
I'm just saying that's what was in the court records. That's what I'm laying you. Yeah.
We were in uncharted territory. Never before has a government shutdown gone this long. Never before has there been this much at stake. Mm-hmm. Never before have we had a list of 15 radical left, basically policy requirements of the Democrats in order to reopen the government. So this was a different set of circumstances. Having said that, we moved out all of the October funding all the way through the shutdown. Mm-hmm. We eventually, based on what the president decided to do, moved out or actually had authorization to move out another 65% of the $9.2 billion for November. But at the end of the day, the Democrats had to open the government so that these families could get what they needed.
What do you say to the Democrats who argue that USDA was withholding the SNAP funding in order to use it as a pressure point to get them to reopen the government?
For them to say that is astounding to me after they are the ones who openly admitted that they were holding Najee hostage in order to get their $200 million
They didn't openly admit that they were holding.
No, that Chuck Schumer said that. Several of the congresswomen said that. I mean, it was one person after another. Now, maybe they didn't say we're holding Najee hostage in order to get $200 million in illegal healthcare, illegal alien healthcare. But there was no doubt, leverage point. This is our leverage point. Hey, guys, we have a leverage point. Meanwhile, we're working literally 20 to 22 hours a day to try to figure out how to move this out under these very unusual and unprecedented circumstances.
What y'all just saw was a repudiation of every single left-stream media, Democratic, nonsensical talking point that came out of this ridiculous Schumer shutdown. Brooke Rollins on here didn't just put on a clinic. She explained how literally everything about their BS narrative is indeed full of it. This makes me unusually mad because it hits two policy points of mine that are very personal to me. One, there's an activist judge that held up the entire process during the shutdown saying, no, the federal government must, according to my completely nonsensical argument, fund something that isn't supposed to be funded. Okay? This is something that the Supreme Court has said time and time again, that activist judges can't do this stuff. And as it turns out, this judge gave a ton of money to other Democrats. That needs to stop. I think we need legislation that prohibits any political speech, okay, according to Citizens United, any political speech of a judge. A judge must be as impartial as possible. There's a reason why Lady Justice is blindfolded while holding onto scales. Hey, y'all. What if I told you that most collagen products aren't just a waste of money? They could be loaded with toxins that lead to skin issues, heart problems, and even cognitive decline. Sounds scary, but it's true. See, collagen is the most abundant protein found in the body, and our natural supply runs lower as we age. That's why so many people are turning to collagen to help with joint pain, bone health, and even look years younger. But here's the catch. You have to know what you're looking for, or you might be doing your body more harm than good. So before you buy another tub off of Amazon or from your local store, go check out the top 5 collagen warnings that every American needs to see, and take advantage of this special offer. It's a real quick read that can help save your health and your wallet. Right now, get a special bundled deal at a fraction of retail costs plus free shipping. This offer is only available at getnativepath.com/brawl. That's getnativepath.com/brawl. But then we've also got to deal with the issue that Brooke Rollins is bringing up here. Not only did this judge decide that, hey, the federal government's got to do things that aren't legally provided. Not only is that a problem, it turns out that the money that they were talking about was in other congressionally appropriated areas that would have made it even worse for people. It would have taken away food from other people. What an insane situation. And it turns out the Democrats were allowing that to happen. There's a reason I've been so positive towards John Fetterman in recent months. It's because he's been willing to say, no, this is garbage. This is nonsense. We're tired of it. It's time to, if we made a promise to certain people that they were going to get EBT, well, you know what? We got to keep that promise. I respect that. Even though I don't like EBT, we got to go back to government cheese. We got to go back to actual food again. The whole reason we have EBT, by the way, little side note, is because it goes directly into giant corporations' pockets. It goes to Lay's, Pepsi, and Coca-Cola, and you can see behind me the love for Coke, because I'm a son of the Atlanta area. I love this heritage. Love the Atlanta Braves. Starting to sour on the Falcons, by the way. I think I need a new franchise. Let me know what team I need to follow in the comments below, because I'm done with them. But some real talk. Brooke Rollins is dealing with every single crap talking point that has come out of the mouths of the left-stream media and their Democrat allies. And it turns out the situation was even worse than we imagined. Like I said, this makes me mad for two reasons. One, they crossed one of my legal lines. You don't mess with the judiciary. Okay? And the judiciary decided to mess with us. That's a two-way street. That's a two-edged sword there. We have got to get a hold on that, but we've also got an uphill battle against a left-stream media. I no longer like saying mainstream media. That's Rush Limbaugh talk. We're in a post-Rush Limbaugh era. It's time to update our language and start hitting them where it hurts. Brooke Rollins just took down Pamela Brown on her own show. This doesn't just say that the Trump administration has gotten even more competent, which that's one of the takeaways here. The other one is, no, we're telling you how the system actually works, and they still refuse to listen. This is what has made me so mad in recent days, after the 2025 election, realizing that the Commonwealth of Virginia, their Democrat voters, were either completely ignorant to the fact of Jay Jones' comments. Do not look up what Jay Jones said about his political opponents, by the way. It will make you mad beyond belief. And Democrats were either ignorant of the truth, which means the media is hiding the truth from them. And there's a couple of reasons for that. Some of them are actually logical. For instance, if you tell Democrats the truth, they will reject it and run to anyone else saying any other thing. Even perhaps especially if it's not the truth. Or much worse, they agree with it. The polling that has come out about Democrats being perfectly fine with looking at Trump inside of a coffin, let's put it that way, it's over 50%. Elon Musk, it's at 47%. For other rank-and-file conservatives, it's about 40%. Which means we're dealing with anywhere between 30 to 50% of Democrats who are so tired of politics that they just rather, spit on your grave after, putting you in one. If that doesn't make you mad, I don't know what will. But that's what we're up against. We're up against a media that is lying to its own people. We're up against Democrats who have believed in the system so much that they refuse to decouple themselves from it, with some rare exceptions. Again, this is why I like John Fetterman. I can work with John Fetterman. Okay? I probably can't shake his hand. I'm 5'6". He dwarfed mine. There's no handshake going on in that situation. But that's someone I can work with. I want to bring those politics back. We got to be pulled back from the brink. And the left-stream media will continue to push us in that direction until proven otherwise. So that's why I'm so histrionic. That's what makes me mad about this situation. It doesn't matter how much truth to power Brooke Rollins is speaking. It won't matter to the people listening. That's why we need to stay independent here at Politibrawl. So consider signing up for memberships if you feel so led. That'll help us stay solvent and independent, giving you news you can use as fast as humanly possible. My name is Brian. Hope you enjoyed that segment here on Politibrawl. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Catch you on the next one. Until then, y'all have a good one.